All right, hello everybody. Welcome to the Nexus. I'm your host Nezzy, and I'm here with Ghost. Say hi.
Hello.
Void,
What's up?
and our special guest today, Alex. Say hi.
Hello.
All right, so we're here to talk about the champions that are here on Free Week, and here's a here. You can see the art for all of them. I think you should probably know who they are. I'd be kind of sad if you didn't. But there's one that's missing here just because he's the new champion. It's Bard, and we'll talk about him later. But we're basically just gonna go down the list and we'll talk about each champion and what we like, what we don't like, and we'll each of us will pick one champion that we think is the best this Free Week. So first off, we have Akali, and that it's
The
Akali.
The Insta
The
report.
the Insta
Yeah,
report, yeah.
Pretty much. Ghost
I mean, it
really
says here-
doesn't like Akali.
No, we really don't. But I mean, it says that she has a really high difficulty level. Do you believe that?
No.
I don't. I wonder how their difficulty level was set when they made this. As in,
Yeah.
it should be the lower it is, the easier it is. It shouldn't be the higher.
I do believe she is quite skill intensive, to be honest.
I mean, I've played her a few times before, and it was kind of iffy.
Yeah, I mean, you like to
would
play any
actually-
champion, you need to have a certain amount of skill with that champion. Like, because if you like, let's say like everyone knows how OP Katarina, Yasuo,
Yeah.
Vel'Koz can be, right? But if you went and you've never played them before, you just picked it up, would you be able to get like penta after penta? Probably not.
Yeah,
Well,
probably not.
Probably wouldn't. Well, in general, as well as no matter how much you practice, at the same time, what are the chances of you in general getting penta after penta?
That's
This is
true.
also true.
Yeah. I mean, it says
As well
primary
as it
role.
also depends on your team comp and
Yeah.
how well your team works together. Because you can't have a team fight Akali 1v5. You can win, but
I mean,
at the
that's
same
really-
time-
Possible.
Yeah, that's with any game though. And with any game, it's like it's mainly a team. I mean, it says here primary role assassin.
as
I
in
mean,
I'll
that
stab
that's
you in the
fairly
butt.
yeah, it's fairly fitting. She just comes up and kind of smacks you when you're dead.
She's a ninja.
All right. The next one on the list is Bard. I guess we're just going in alphabetical order. The Bard's not up here, but he is here in the Free Week. The Wandering Caretaker, the new addition to League of Legends. Do y'all
One
like
thing.
him very much? Oh, Alex has something to say. Hold on, I think Alex has something to say.
Worst support since anything.
I mean, it says his
Well-
primary role is support, and his secondary role is a mage.
Well, I
Apparently,
think the reason why he might not be a good support is just because, like, you see how they rated his difficulty.
Yeah,
If
it's like really high.
It's like
he's
A lot of
actually
people
not bad.
want to pick up a new champion immediately and just start playing it and be good at
Yeah.
it. But his stun, you know how his stun is, right? You have to hit two people or
Yeah.
a player and a
Yeah,
wall or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's hard to land, one, and then two, he only has one escape, which is his magical journey, which isn't even
That's
much
true.
of escape. Because
I mean,
So
but you
everything
can
is
use his
all-
stun. You can use his stun, and you can use his like Zhonya's effect, his ultimate, to kind of get away. But if you're just talking about any sort of getaway, it would be his it would be his magical journey. But as you said, it does take time for that to actually work. It takes I don't know, a second. I don't really know how
Yeah,
long it
not
takes
only
it.
that, but enemies
Yeah.
can also follow through, which
That's
means
true.
It's,
It's
he's not
basically
really getting
useless.
away.
Yeah, unless there's somebody there that's ready to counteract.
The only thing I can think Bard would be really useful for is because early game he's going to be not very good. I don't want to say he's trash, but I mean a bad Bard player, yes, will be very trash early and
That
late
is, yeah,
game.
that's very
But
true.
late game, Bard is good for one, escaping the entire team,
Yeah,
two, engaging team fights, and three, helping win team fights. Because if he can land a stun on two enemy champions and then possibly get his ult down in a good place, securing objectives and other stuff should be very easy.
yeah. All right, well, let's move on from picking on Bard, and we'll move on to Garen, the Might of Demacia.
Spin to
It says
win.
primary.
Demacia.
It says
Spin to
primary
win,
role
Demacia.
fighter. I mean, it says primary role fighter, but I think actually and secondary role tank. But I really think those should be switched. A lot of people mainly go tank for Garen first. I've only seen a few people actually go like with an AD Garen. What about you guys?
I
You can go first. I'll let you.
I do believe he is more of a tank than anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with his
Uh,
armor ability.
Yeah.
His
He
his
does
passive.
have a lot of abilities that are geared. Well, his abilities, he has one that's geared towards shield and defense, and then his Q can also be used in defense because he
It increases
escapes
speed.
all yeah, increases his speed and he escapes all slows
Yeah.
with that,
Well, I mean, and then he has
So it's
his
kind of
like
like a
his
Ghost Blade.
silence effect. His silence effect on his
which
Q.
is
It's
very
like a
very
second. It's like a second on his first level, and that's kind
yeah.
of that's really
It's
ridiculous.
hated by a lot of people, which is why
It
Garen is
is.
such a strong top laner. And you see how the difficulty is rated about half. He's really not hard to
Yeah.
play. You
I mean,
press E,
he's only a
you win.
450 champion. Like compared to Bard or Akali, they cost much more than Garen does. Garen's only a 450. So,
Hmm.
I mean, he's really good for his price.
Yeah.
I'd have to say. I don't think Bard would be worth 6300 IP
I
I'm
or
surprised they
IP.
went
I think they
7,200.
need to start Riot needs to start lowering the
Yeah.
costs of some of the champions that first come out, or
Yeah.
some of the
That'd be
champions
nice.
that have already been out for a while.
All
May
right,
I outright
so
state that
yeah,
may I outright state that I believe that some champions in League of Legends should actually be taken out and
Hmm.
replaced with either like remade or like replaced as in change in their like abilities, because some things, considering the most things that have been coming in lately, considering like how Kalista has like her bond and like how her ult requires another, and how like Bard is kind of a person that can hardly do anything on his own. It seems like they're
True.
trying to actually force partnership upon each other
Well,
when
that's
in
yeah.
reality that's not something you really want, as
you
well as
see.
because
I think
if you're good partners alone, you shouldn't need like Kalista's Rend or Soulsteel in order to just flat out win a team fight. You should have good like synchronization, as in like have good friends to play with you
Well, I mean,
and like know what you're gonna do.
how about we make another how about we make another video about this? We can make a video of our like top 10 or top 10 hated champions or things like
Calling
that.
number
But
one.
yeah,
Calling number
definitely.
one.
All right,
Calling
but right
number
now, let's move on to Hecarim, the Shadow of War. His primary role is a fighter and secondary role tank. Do y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
I do. I actually haven't seen very many tank Hecarims. I know it's a thing, but a lot of people play fighter Hecarim.
I
And
mean,
one thing I
especially
would
in
like to
my
mention
yeah. Go ahead.
about Hecarim is whether you know this or not, it's important to take into consideration. His AD attack damage will scale with his movement speed, which is
Really,
why a lot of people build full movement speed Hecarim because
I
it
didn't
is
even know
very
that.
powerful.
I
Yeah,
Yeah,
that does
it's
seem.
his passive, or
Yeah.
yeah,
Warpath.
it's his passive. His AD will scale with his movement speed. So the faster Hecarim is, the more damage he does.
There's, I would honestly have to say, there are a few things that I see in Hecarim that I get with the fighter, but what I've been seeing a lot of lately is when people take like Hecarim into the jungle and such, they've actually been going for like an assassin build on Hecarim, which I don't think is completely like well. It works, excuse me, as in it works in terms of, you know how assassins base their stats off crit chance, attack speed, and movement.
Yeah.
And since his AP scales, correct, with his movement speed,
Mm-hmm.
um, which I've seen people doing, but at the
As
same
AD, not as
time,
AP.
AD, yeah, sorry. But at the same time, I've seen people going with like an assassin's build, and I think that's what's been messing a lot of them up, because most of the Hecarims that I've been playing with lately, I think Justin has played a couple with me as well.
Oh, I used to
They've
Hecarim.
been
So
complete
fun.
like moderately trash, because
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
go for the
One
things
thing
that
I
they shouldn't be
actually
going
see.
for, as in like Hecarim, even though he's fighter and tank, you shouldn't be going for something such as like a stat shiv or Yamumu's Ghostblade for the first few items. You should be going with something sort of like a Hydra's, a
I
Brutalizer,
build I
or
build
anything that actually is
I
willing to pack a punch instead
I
of just
build
doing a bit of damage and then running away.
Black Cleaver first on Hecarim. I'm not sure, but what I see is a lot of people they try and go full speed. And now what you have to know about Hecarim is even though his AD will scale with his speed, it's not really it's
Effective.
that's not yeah, it's not very effective. It only does that to increase the his attack damage, because his base attack damage isn't very high.
Yeah.
So people who build full speed don't really get the maximum attack damage that they could, because
the items actually give more speed than
they give
instead of
more speed than
attack
actual attack
damage,
Yeah.
even
which
though
makes his attack damage not as much as it could be.
it
So
wouldn't.
what I see is a lot of Hecarims, they'll be really fast and it looks pretty scary, but when he actually gets into a fight, he's
he's squishy.
practically useless. Yeah.
He's squishy because he doesn't have any damage to deal.
All right. Yeah, let's go on to Jinx, the loose cannon. Yes, Jinx, the overpowered marksman. And it says she does not have a secondary role. She is only a marksman. But look at her attack. I mean, her attack is way up there.
Yep.
She doesn't have much defenses, though. I mean,
Jesus
but
Christ,
who really
she's
needs
worse.
defenses when she can kill you in 2 seconds?
Dude, she's worse than her sister. I swear to God.
Vi, yeah. What do you think about her difficulty? Like, is that...
I'd give it. They put it a bit too high, in my opinion.
I agree as
Honestly,
well. But at the same
there's a-
time, I would also like to point out she has no escapes. Again.
Yeah,
like
that's
Bard.
true.
She
That's
has-
true.
She has her
she
W.
has no escapes.
Is-
Yes,
Wait, is her W the
the zap.
shot or the
Zap.
okay, my bad. I meant her E. Her E is the chompers, but the
The
thing is, though,
chompers.
yeah, if they can get by the chompers, or let's say someone like Tristana or Kha'Zix, they can jump over those,
Yeah.
right? So they could just jump over those, and those become useless, and Jinx is dead. So she doesn't have very many escapes. She's very powerful, but almost no escapes.
She's kind of like in a fight or say an army. She's kind of like the people you'd send in first. You know, like they'd send the most powerful in first to try and eradicate it, but at the same time, like
Yeah.
even though she doesn't have many escapes, considering that a lot of people play ADC Jinx, which means they'll actually have a support, and if the support's actually good, say as a Soraka, or it's actually a Lux like I do, and they like
Maybe
if
someone
you,
with a strong lockdown like
Yeah,
Leona.
Yeah.
yeah, or with Leona or anybody with stuns like Annie, like
Mhm.
that, like the main thing that happens is even though Jinx can't get away, since they play ADC, the support gives her a way to get away.
Yeah.
And once that happens, she like the entire lane is just free game, because considering her attack damage, there's just nothing you can do about that. Like if she gets away once, it's like almost GG.
Yeah.
What about...
I
Alright, well, let's move on to
just-
Kassadin.
Yeah. One last thing about Jinx, though.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
Jinx is a very, very offensive. Pure
She
Yeah,
is.
she has to be completely aggressive.
Yeah.
She can't be defensive at all.
She can't.
She would also need a very good support to play with.
Mm.
Because
Lux is good. Lux would be good because of the stuns, or just really anything that can root them in place.
stun
So,
and then the
like,
scope
yeah.
for getting
the
away,
way
the
that I play.
shield.
Completely broken.
All right,
Any support that's broken.
Yeah. What about... Alright, so Kassadin, the Voidwalker. It says his primary role is assassin and his secondary is mage. I really think those should be switched. I've never really seen like a person run around and assassinate as Kassadin. What about you guys?
Well,
You probably haven't seen old Kassadin before the big nerf, but yeah, as of now, it should be switched. But he used to be the.
I mean, I heard, yeah, I've heard that
Oh.
Kassadin was really OP back then, but I mean, and
Now I don't know much about Kassadin, but he is scary if you play him.
yeah.
I know.
What do you think about his difficulty? It's really high.
I think they rated it pretty well.
Yeah, I've played
because
Kassadin. It's
Yeah, because it required, like, you have to be able to lock down efficiently.
yeah.
Like, I think it's his W is like the stun / slow.
I'm not
Is it?
100% sure either.
Yeah, I haven't ever played Kassadin. I'm not a
His
big.
W is
I played it
Blood Spirit.
once.
He fires a void of energy at a target, dealing damage, interrupting channels. Excess energy forms around himself, granting a temporary shield.
Okay, so
Mm.
I would say semi bursty.
Yeah. We don't really have much about Kassadin, so let's just move on to Leona. Leona, the Radiant Dawn, or as I like to call her, Miss Stun, because every single one of her abilities stuns. Primary
shield
role-
bash to win.
Yeah, primary role tank and secondary role support. I agree with that.
How about
She-
Primary roll stun.
those
secondary
roles those roles are actually extremely accurate.
yeah, they
considering
are.
The fact
Actually.
that I would honestly say this. You know how well, almost most ADCs need a support because they can't do it
Mhm.
alone. At the same time, Leona's the kind of character that she is quote unquote her own support, considering that all of her abilities do damage, or almost all of her abilities do damage and stun at the same
And
time.
stun,
So
yeah.
she can make
Stun's
exits
less
for
slow.
herself and other people, as well as she can enter and end a fight very quickly without taking much damage if you build her right. But at the same time, if you have a bad Leona on your team, it is actually really bad considering the fact that if she just wastes all of her mana with her actual good stuns, there will be nothing to protect the team from, say, an entire team gank or
Yeah.
when you're defending the Nexus. So
That's true.
it all depends on the type of player. But other than that, I would honestly say like the difficulty's okay. The ability
Yeah.
powers a meh. The defense is actually really high up there, which I like because she
Yeah,
also
it
like
is.
they
Doubles,
represent
yeah,
it
she
also
doubles as a tank.
offer splash art, as well as if you read the lore, and her attack is actually pretty well, like a lot
Yeah,
better than
you
Yeah.
can play AD Leona. That is a thing.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to
Which
Lucy.
I have done that in Earth mode.
Oh
Not
wow.
as good as I hoped, but
All right, well, let's go to
not very-
Lucian, the Purifier. Primary role marksman. He doesn't really have a secondary role. Do you?
Well,
What
he
do you guys
doesn't
think about that? I mean,
he's a full AD character, so he doesn't really need a secondary role. As
that
well
is
as
that is
marksman,
true. Yeah.
as well as
Here's
marksman is
the thing.
basically just another class for saying ADC.
Yeah, yeah,
is true.
ADC. He does.
As-
He has a lot of attack. He doesn't have much ability power, and his difficulty's kind of meh, a little bit above average.
I'm surprised they have his defense that high, considering the fact that it's
He's kind of
okay,
squishy.
But yeah, like no, but every ADC early game is squishy. Like
Yeah.
Ezreal is
Ezreal.
squishier than most.
Hmm.
Problem is, late game Lucian, if he builds health instead of attack for some reason,
Which would be
he will
weird.
become no. I mean, there's some pretty weird people out there, but
Yeah, weird league
like-
players.
Lucian, the
Tank Lucian, yes. Tank
Yeah,
Lucian.
that'd be funny.
I'm saying this entirely. I'm backing up a bit because I'm kind
We,
of.
we need to do that.
No. Okay,
we should try that one time.
we already
Tank
5
should-
teams smited. We're not doing this again.
All right, all
Five
right.
But,
smite.
oh,
Okay.
Yes, that was
That's
horrible.
another story. That's another story. But
That was horrible.
Lucian, other than that, like he can, as Lucian, if you build him right, he
Mhm.
can do as much. He can take as much damage as he puts out because he's. If you think about it, he can be more bursty than Jinx. But
Yeah.
but at the same time, since he actually has health, he can be a defensive player, so he doesn't actually have to be aggressive to be a threat.
I don't think he's more bursty than Jinx.
He's kind of up there. He could.
why
It's
Lucian
it's,
is a good
it's, a,
AD.
it's a
Yeah, I
trade-off.
wouldn't say necessarily as much as Jinx, but I would say he's
But
definitely
he's
up near
up
the
there,
top.
yeah.
Yeah, he's
He's-
definitely pretty
he's one of the
bursty.
more bursty
One thing I
characters.
think that something that makes Lucian a bit better, as just an overall champion than Jinx is because he has a high attack damage. He also has a dash.
Oh
He
yeah,
do- yeah.
his dash can literally close it. His dash is literally your
Chase
his decision
and
upon
escape
your
very
life.
easily. The only thing I
Chases
don't like
very well.
is his ult, culling.
Oh, the calling.
Yeah,
oh,
the
and
culling.
how you can't turn
I
it.
don't like it
Mhm.
just because if you accidentally aim it wrong, like it requires
For actual
very
precision.
precise precision, for lack of a
Yes.
better word. If you don't get it right, you just wasted your ult.
Mhm.
The one thing I do like about it though is it can be also used as a defense mechanism because you can move while you're ulting,
I can
which
agree.
makes it or really good if someone's chasing you.
I would agree and disagree with that, considering the fact that if you aim it wrong, you're completely screwed. Yes, which is obviously true.
Mhm.
If anybody's ever played Lucian. But at the same time, it could also be an offensive weapon. Say like your entire team is trying to get away and you pop it off and you just move up like side to side in lane, considering the fact that you can't turn. Like the only problem I actually don't like about it is like who can't turn while holding a gun? If you can't turn while holding a gun, this isn't Doom.
Hey, maybe it's a really, really heavy gun.
This isn't Doom. This isn't
Because
Quake.
he's like running and sprinting and jumping around. with
Yeah,
them.
it's true.
This
All right,
isn't
well-
Assassin's Creed as well.
All right,
Alright,
well, let's go
let's-
to Mordekaiser, the Master of
Oh.
Metal, primary role
Okay.
fighter, secondary role
Okay,
mage.
one
I
thing I
can't-
would
I
like to
can't even
say
talk. I
before
know
we start
nothing
into this,
about
I really do not like Mordekaiser at all.
I like
It
playing
made-
him. I don't like playing against him though.
Yeah, no. Okay, His
anything-
shield is retarded.
It is.
It's like
Oh, the metal shield.
It is
just
so
do
bad.
take damage.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
I did do
I'm
one
interested.
game. I did one game with Ezreal where either this Mordekaiser was new or he just was not very good at all. But I could take him down. I took him down a few times. I went APS.
Yeah, I mean, you can kill Mordekaiser. He's just so annoying to play.
Yeah, it
against
is,
early
especially in late levels.
game. He walks up and is just like, "Let me cue the minions, and while you poke me, I'm just gonna continue hitting the minions because I'm taking no damage anyway."
And he's getting more shield from hitting the minions.
It's like,
Yeah.
let me cue, and then
I wouldn't
Q.
I wouldn't necessarily really put his
And then
difficulty
Q.
level that high. I'd probably put it like 2 or 3 ticks lower, like around here.
Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely put it a bit lower.
I have one problem.
Hmm.
The next character, Sona. He is about to flip. Sit down, people. It's story time. Justin's about to go ham.
Justin's about to,
Oh.
yeah. All right,
Okay.
Sona,
Oh,
Maven
no one
of the
touches.
Strings, primary role support, secondary role mage. What do you guys think of that?
Can I just flat out say that I hate her because she, I just.
Well, you
wanna-
hate her. You hate her in Earth mode, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
In
Okay.
general.
Wait. Earth mode Sona is gonna come at the end of the video.
No,
Right.
well, actually, we'll make
I'm
make
gonna
another
go
video
on.
about
I'm gonna
Earth.
go
We'll make
video.
another video about Earth. We'll make a video. Top
Oh,
top
come on.
top 5
Make
Earth
one.
top 5 Earth champions.
Lux.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
All right.
Lux-
Well,
yeah, no,
so
Isn't-
defense.
Karthus.
So Sona. The difficulty level, it's kind of low. It's one of the
I
lowest in this here. I would kind of
why?
agree with that.
I don't.
Actually,
I-
no. Actually, from what I've seen, Sona is actually a difficult character to play.
She is.
As
Be-
well as she runs out of mana faster than most, and as well as since she runs out of mana faster than most, like she has no health as well to begin with. So like you actually have to, unlike in most champions that require most AP and mana, she actually has to manage her mana because if you don't, you
Yeah.
are basically just a useless body.
Another thing is
Yeah.
a lot of people they play Sona and they don't use their skills I don't want
Properly,
to properly, but like
effectively.
best best effectively. Like they don't
Yeah.
use it in the most effective way they could. Like for example, a lot of people know this combo, but when Sona reaches when she does 3 abilities, then her next auto attack will deal additional damage.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you really
when
need to take effect of that. I mean,
you save a Q for you have 2 abilities stacked already on her passive, right? And so, especially in lane, this is important because it can provide a lot of poke. Especially if you have built some AP already, like possibly a Doran's Ring, maybe. But you can Q and then auto attack immediately after that, and that provides a lot of poke. And it's very important to get poked down in lane.
My
You
only
go from
problem
poking with a stick to
with
poking with a
Sona-
sharp stick.
what were you saying, Alex?
Well, my only problem with Sona is crescendo. I just feel that that stun is so narrow sometimes. I just don't get it. It's just Song of Celerity is a circle around her. Aria of Perseverance is also a circle.
Most of
Pretty
them are
much
circles.
daily. Yeah.
Let's
then
just
it's
say
just-
she prefers circles than squares.
It's just crescendo is just in front of you, and I don't like that.
I think if they would change it to make it more like a cone, like if it was to go kind of in a cone shape outward
Yeah.
instead of just a lane,
You mean
It'd make
kind of
her
like Ash's
active.
W?
kind of, but maybe not that wide, just a bit wider. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I
like,
think.
shorter, like wider, but like shorter.
I don't know about
As
shorter.
much range.
Possibly, yes.
All right, well,
Because
let's
you
go. Let's go on to Vi. The Piltover Enforcer. Primary role fighter, secondary role assassin. I kind of agree
I
with that. What
agree.
about you guys? Yeah. I mean, she's got a
Uh,
lot of attack, not much defense, and her difficulty's fairly
Well-
low, same as Sona.
Well,
I do
that's
think
biased.
she's not an assassin. I do.
Yeah,
think
I was about to
she's a
say
tank.
she's a fighter slash tank. It's more of a
Yeah.
fighter slash tank than an assassin.
Would you put her defense? Would you put her defense level a bit higher? or would you keep it kind of there?
Slightly. I'd probably
Yeah,
go
I'd
about
probably put
Like
it
one
up.
or two,
I mean,
like
1.5.
one or two ticks.
well,
go
her
like
passive,
1.5.
her passive is a shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Vi automatically comes out with high defense right off the bat. The
Mhm.
difference between the fact that when they give you secondary roles, that kind of opens up for multiple options. Most people can't see the assassin in Vi, which is why they go tank.
Yeah.
In
I
which,
don't
even though they
see
go
the
tank,
assassin
they don't
value.
need to worry about it. They don't need to worry about going tank or buying any serious items in the beginning because the fact that Vi already has a really high damage output right off the bat.
Yeah, that's true. All right,
And
well,
her Volt
yeah, go
Breaker
ahead.
is her Volt Breaker is OP.
Yeah, it is. All right, so each of us are gonna pick our favorite champion, and the champion that we think is gonna be the best for League of Legends and this free week. Not necessarily Earth mode, because we'll make a video on Earth mode, but
Oh, yes.
just the best champion that we think will do the best this week.
If they all
Uh, so Ghost, how about you start?
Out of everything I've seen so far, and considering what I've learned now, I would still have to pick Vi, considering the fact that she can enter, end, as well as just change around a fight within a moment's notice, considering her abilities. So I'm gonna go with Vi in this one.
What about you, Void?
I'm gonna also have to go with the Vi just because I'm a jungle main. If you didn't know that, but it's so hard to play against an enemy Vi, just
It is,
because
really,
her
yeah.
mobility is ridiculous. Because her Q is like a free flash, basically. You do have to charge it up to get maximum range, but it does you know what it does. When you charge into someone, it knocks them up,
And then you
and
knock them down.
it's basically just a free stun, flash, damage, a ton of things.
Imagine a
And-
Shoryuken with a metal fist.
Yep. And then her Vault Breaker is just insane damage. And then one thing is it has the AoE effect that goes in front or where she's punching, and then it like extends out. That is also ridiculous because it still deals damage or massive damage from at range. And then I mean her ult is also ridiculous. She's basically just locked
A bunch
down,
of
smash, and
ridiculousness.
run. A
That's
Yeah.
bunch
why
of
the Vault
ridiculous.
Breaker, quote unquote destroy armor,
Yeah.
like very
Vi,
fast.
my name is Vi. You're dead. Bye.
All right, well, what about you, Alex? What would be your best champion for this week?
Well, to be honest, there's no real option other than Vi.
I was gonna say, if you say Akali,
Oh,
I-
Akali. Report for Akali.
So how
Report
about
for
you? How about you,
unskilled player.
Nezzy? How about you,
Uh,
Nezzy? Like, what is your
I'm gonna like I agree with you on Vi, but I'm gonna have to go with Mordekaiser. I know y'all are gonna hate me for that, but I'm gonna have to go with
I can
Mordekaiser.
see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I mean, just 'cause,
don't
like,
know much
his
about
shield,
Mordekaiser, but I do know what he does.
I've played him before. His shield in the very beginning, if you really like knock at him, his shield is no problem in the very beginning. But it's when you get into the later stages and you've built all your AP and you've maxed out your Q, maxed out your E, maxed out your W, then when you get to the higher levels, his shield is very effective and it recharges at a very fast rate. But if there's one flaw that I have to say with Mordekaiser, if he cannot farm, his shield is absolutely useless because it goes away.
If he has nothing else to hit, if there's nothing around him to hit, like minions especially, he's not gonna do very well.
His shield goes away at I think it's a 3% rate. So it goes away, not really fast, but it goes away fairly fast.
Fairly
Yeah.
fast.
So that's the one flaw I would have to say with Mordekaiser. Can y'all think of any flaws with Vi? Maybe?
I would honestly have to say, there aren't many flaws with Vi compared to the fact that there would be flaws with the character, as in like the player.
It does depend on the player. It depends a lot on the player.
Remember how the Vi kept like dashing forward and continuously kept missing?
We had a really bad
Because
Vi.
when you
Yeah.
no, we went against a really bad Vi. But
Well, yeah.
if you miss with most of her abilities, especially the one that does the most damage, which would be Vault Breaker,
Mhm.
she like it keeps going since you don't hit anything, as well as like you're open to hits while that happens. So like
Yeah.
if you do that and don't hit anybody and your team doesn't go in, like you are basically completely locked down.
Yeah.
So like
Vi is
there are
best in team fights, I would say.
Vi would be the
Another
best
thing,
one of the best enterers for team fights.
Yeah.
yeah, a very good engager. One thing I'd have to point out is since Vi is so AD oriented, and since she's a melee fighter, well, partially, it makes her abilities itself don't really have many flaws to how good she does. It's more of the player's skill that comes into it. Like if they can't hit skill shots, then
It's
they
called
might
Then
not.
Vi becomes basically useless. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's the difference between a really good Vi and a really bad Vi. Just like Mordekaiser, if he can't farm properly, or he doesn't know how to farm properly, or he doesn't know that his Q is really OP, then he's not going to be a very good Mordekaiser.
Yeah.
Same with Vi. If the person playing Vi doesn't know how to aim skill shots or can't aim skill shots, then they're not going to be a very good Vi.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that's all we have time for today. I'd like to thank Alex for joining us, and he also joins us in a game of Road to Ranked, and he's using a lower level account for himself, and we're leveling up our accounts still, so hoping to put out more videos on that. So thank you, Alex, for coming, and thank you for Ghost and Void for helping me in this video because it's lonely doing this alone. All right, well, if you guys liked the video, please like, favorite, and subscribe. And I hope you guys had fun watching us rant on how much we hate Akali and how much we think Vi is going to kick butt.
I like Akali.
It should be switched around, but you know what? We'll discuss this in the Earth mode video.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
will. All right, well, all right. Peace out, guys.